Japan's defense network was hacked by Chinese cyber spies in late 2020. That's according to a report from the Washington Post. Citing unnamed senior U.S. officials, the report says the hackers breached military networks and were able to obtain information on defense plans and capabilities. One official described the attack as shockingly bad. It's reportedly one of the most damaging cyber breaches in Japan's history. For more on this, our reporter Jaime Ocon spoke to Nishimura Rintaro, an independent security analyst based in Washington, D.C.
This report that we're seeing says that China was able to hack sensitive Japanese defense networks. How significant is that?
Well, it's very concerning, I think, because it's, at least according to the reports, it's MOD's most sensitive database, which I would say is very concerning given Japan and China's relationship in the military aspect. It's clear that Japan is underwhelming in the cyber domain despite its forward-leaning efforts of late, and it kind of begs the question about how far-reaching it is. It just undermines trust in Japan as an ally and/or a security partner. For anyone that's watching these developments, it's concerning to be a partner of Japan and to realize that it's been hacked by China at its most core. And there's, obviously concerns of attacks during contingencies, which I guess for this audience would be like a Taiwan contingency. If Japan is paralyzed in its state and social functions, like how effective can it be in helping Taiwan?
A lot of the times we're talking about more traditional aspects of warfare, things like tanks and missiles and fighter jets. But how significant is cyber attacks and cybersecurity in the sense of, are we going to see more of this from China against allies like the United States and Japan?
Hybrid warfare is now very commonplace. It's not just about tanks and missiles. It's about who can dominate cyberspace and all these other new domains that are emerging. And just to give you some numbers, one study showed that Japan was on the receiving end of 900 cyber attacks per week last year. That was a 38% increase from 2021, which again shows just how prevalent the issue is becoming. And in 2021, Japan's cybersecurity strategy also mentioned for the first time that China is allegedly using state-backed hacking activities to target dual-use technologies. It's becoming a prevalent issue, and it goes beyond the counter-strike capabilities or the US-Japan interoperability issues. I think cyber is also one of those areas that the alliance will have to keep in mind going forward.
And going forward, how can the United States, Japan, and other countries in the region defend against cyber attacks from China?
I think the idea now, at least, is that it's not just about defending, it's also about proactively identifying these vulnerabilities. For example, and this is just a Japanese example, but the government is looking at introducing this thing called active cyber defense, which is eliminating in advance the possibility of serious cyber attacks. In one example, it would be things like reviews of supply chain vulnerabilities, looking at not just individual firms' vulnerabilities to cyber attacks, but doing that across the supply chain. I think that's something that not just Japan, but other countries would also need to do.
That was independent defense analyst Nishimura Rintaro speaking to our reporter Jaime Ocon.